I was born in El Paso, Texas, March 5th, 1926. I was the oldest, then Jonito, and then Alfonso, and then Cecilia, Emily, and then my little brother Bobby. I was called the foot in the door. My mom worked in El Paso. She said, I want him to be born in the United States, which was a thing to do those days. Then after I was born, she called Juarez, Mexico, said, I have a citizen here, I want my husband. And he got a visa or whatever the heck they gave. And they came all the way to San Francisco because he had a couple of brothers who were working at the Swift packing house. They got my dad a job. When the war started, I quit school. I was drafted into the Navy, selected to go down to the Federal Building in San Francisco to go take my oath of office. And I was supposed to hop on that train, go down to San Diego. We went in, got our shots. We went through all of training. But then later on after we graduated, and we went up to Camp Pendleton, I heard over the PA system, go into the auditorium and grab a seat. And then the Marine come up on the stage and he said, you're wondering what you're doing in a Marine base. The Marines are part of the Navy. Your fellas are going to go into the with the Marines. Well, then a Navy officer came on and he said, he is sick and tired of seeing so many Marines getting slaughtered. We're starting what we call the Navy Amphibious Battalions, and you're going to land with the Marines. It was fantastic. I was so glad they threw me in with the Marines. Brand new ship, the USS Hinsdale, APA 120. We went to Maui, then we went to Kwajalein, Eniwetok, and Guam, February 19th, 1945. That's when we first saw Iwo Jima. An officer came up, he says, you fellas are going to hit the beach tomorrow. And we got there at night, couldn't sleep. We could see the flashes in the sky. Then we saw Suribachi, the volcanic island, dropped anchor. We had to stay there till it was time to go into the beach to invade the island. I piled in my combat gear, the rifle, bayonet, everything. So they told us to go back to number 5 hold and stand by to go over the side. Got in a boat and it was bouncing all over the place. And all this time the battleships are shooting broadsides. 3 shells would be going. Just before they got to Suribachi, they would explode and spray some molten steel. Scared the hell out of you. We got a word, cease fire. And then half an hour later would be H hour. That's when we go in. Well, it was getting close to 9. The coxswain says, everybody get ready, we're going to go in now. And this officer, he was an ensign. The officer said, we didn't get the word yet. The coxswain of the boat, he's the captain. And he said, sir, we got word to go in. Don't try to stop me. And then the officer said, we didn't get word. He pulled out a .45 and he cocked it. Sir, I have orders to shoot you if you keep stopping me. Didn't say another word. And all of a sudden he says, okay, we're going in now. He gunned it. We hit the dirt. Then the ramp dropped. And all I could see was that black sand. And we got all the way up to the top. And I had Bob Hill, Melvin J. Bertoli. So the three of us were there. We have to dig a foxhole. And every time you dig, the sand would come in. And so I went and got some sandbags. Melvin Byron Easton, he comes up. He says, Skoronsky wants to see you. Well, Skoronsky was our lieutenant. I went up to him. I want you to take this note up to Captain so-and-so. These 2 fellas are going to take you up in that duck. And there was a little opening, a roof like with a net. And there was a Marine at a desk with a map, and there was another couple of more Marines in there. So I went up there and I said, sir, this message is from Skoronsky. So he read the message. He just turned right around and kept working. I said, sir, how can I get back to my outfit? He says, take them back where you got them. The mortars are coming back harder. I'm going to go back to my foxhole. And by then it was half done. Bertoli says, I thought you got killed. Hell, all I did was take a message up there. Then I went back down to another boat coming in, and I was helping unload everything you can think of for war. And then I kept watching this hill. There were 3 Marines goofing off. In this hill we go up to where my foxhole was. And I went up to them, and the guy in back, he had a garand. And he said, there's no room in here for you, sailor. I said, what are you talking talking about? This place is blowing up. The ammunition dump is blowing up and been coming down. And I said, I got to get up there. So I climbed. Bertoli got me. He says, damn, I thought you got killed again. I said, no, there's a guy down there. He wouldn't let me in there. I got inside there. It wasn't covered yet. After all that mortar, after that ammunition dump blew up, it kind of quieted down. 3 of us went down. I said, Bertoli, come here. I want to show you where that foxhole is. All 3 of those Marines were burnt to a crisp. Another time, that officer, he called me down there. And when I'm standing there talking to him, a mortar landed right behind him. I said, you better duck. And he dropped and that damn thing went off. Scared the crap out of me. Everybody was running away from mortars. I went back down to my boat where the officer was. Well, I need some help. There's a Marine up there near Suribachi. He's wounded and he's moaning like crazy. We got to go get him. I said, what do you mean we got to go get him? He says, come on, you got to help me because I can't make it. Went up and that Maroon was moaning and he has covered with blood. So we opened him up, poured sulfur powder all over the wound. Then they got a bandage. We got to take him down to the aid station. We got to the bottom. We're crawling over the Marines, dragging everything around them and everything. It was a mess. That was the 3rd or 4th day after the flag had gone up. But we got that Marine down. The day went, another day went. Another bitch battalion there. They had so many wounded. They had to put them on our ship. They designated it a hospital ship and we had to take it to Guam. This Marine, I told him, I said, we have a good foxhole here for you. We don't need it. We're going back to our ship. Got on the LST. We're looking for the Hinsdale. They can't find him. And the Hinsdale at night would leave because of the submarines. And then the skipper of our boat said, you better go ashore. We can't find a Hinsdale. We'll have to try tomorrow. And you get inside, go down below and crash. Well, I was dead tired. We were up there for 7, 8 days, whatever. Touched the cots and they're all wet. I said, what the hell? I don't care. So I went over there and I fell asleep. That morning, I got up and I was covered with blood. Anyway, he said, where'd you get hit? I took all my clothes off and I threw the clothes over the side and I went to my locker and I got clothes, shower, nice lunch and some binoculars. They're shooting out the ships. And then I noticed they unloaded up over 300 wounded Americans. We're loading up ammunition, guns, gasoline. We're going to go over to Okinawa and invade Okinawa. But our ship got hit Easter Sunday, 1945, 5:08 in the morning. That Japanese plane, it was low in the water. Nobody saw it. Boom! He hit us below the stack at the water line and it had 3 bombs. 2 went off and the other one went into the starboard boiler and it blew that thing to smithereens. All the steam in there killed everybody that was in the engine room. Before the plane hit, I was on the 20 on the port side. That's the side the plane hit. He said, you better go get your helmet. I didn't have it. I forgot all about it. So I went down below and as soon as I stepped in, boom, the plane hit. I said, holy shit. So I went up on deck and I said, what the hell was that? And he said, a plane hit us. It was a relief because I knew we wouldn't get hit again. And then a lot of Marines, they came over. They were all on a boat. They were wondering, oh, we're going to sink because the ship is listing. And over the PA system, and the captain says, lay to the starboard side. Our ship is listing the port. We have to level it. By then, the sky was full of Japanese planes, and they're all suiciding. They were sinking everything in sight. Lieutenant Osborne, he says, I got a job for you. So he gave me a flashlight and a submachine gun. And they said, you watch the starboard gangway, because they hit us on the port side, because the Japanese were swimming around with mortars and bombs and everything. And we were there for a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And a tug came and towed us into Murrieta. And then we stayed there till our ship got repaired. And then we got towed to an island called Mogmog in the Caroline Islands. We were there one day and we got word that the engine, the starboard engine, is in operation. Oh, we went to Panama first, go through the gate. We came all the way up the coast to New York City. They had the fountain blowing up, you know, because they're celebrating that we're coming back. Went down the Hudson River, went into Hoboken, New Jersey. And we pulled in there July 2nd, 1945. It was great to be home. Then the war ended in August 14th. I was coming home on a 30-day leave. After we left Hoboken, I was the first watch. I was on the starboard side. Well, the starboard watch, they got their first 30-day leave. I went up to Syracuse with a couple of buddies, and we're going to Chicago, because then I'm going to take a train to San Francisco. Camp Shoemaker, I got discharged there. But I went to work. I work in a place called the Sugar Refinery. Then the Korean War broke out. I joined the Merchant Marine because I had 2 years sea time on the Navy ship, and I had a able-bodied seaman endorsements ongoing on the USS Mission Carmel. It was a tanker. First they went to Seoul, the capital of Korea. When the tide would come in, it'd be 30 feet deep. We had a big hole dug in so we could anchor our ship. A lot of the Koreans come up and they're walking alongside our ship. I couldn't believe that. That was at Incheon, a gasoline town in Shimatsu, Japan. And we'd pull in there with this tanker we had, and we'd fill it up with 120,000 barrels of aviation gasoline. And when we were in Incheon at New Year's Eve, the Koreans bombed it. And we had 120,000 barrels of aviation gasoline in our ship. But nothing happened. So I was on the USS Mission Carmel till I got pleurisy. After the Korean War, I worked at Transocean Airlines, Southeastern Airlines, and we kept sailing in the Merchant Marine. Oh, I was an aircraft mechanic. It was great. I married my wife, and she was a beautiful lady. We were eating Mexican food, the Mexico City Cafe. I spotted her, and I just couldn't look anywhere else. Helen, 8 months later, we got married. We lived in Oakland then. We were married in our 50s, and she died 2006. But she was in a nursing home for 20 years. You know, I used to go see her every single day. Yeah, one daughter. Lori has one daughter. Well, I made things out of silver, out of stainless steel, copper.